Right, so you're welcome to the business segment. We begin with our very first story. And the inflation rate for June 2015 is 17.1%, which is up by 0.2% from the 16.9% recorded in May. The Central Region recorded the very highest year-on-year inflation rate of 19.5%, which is higher than the national average of 17.1%, with the Volta Region recorded the very lowest of 14.8%.
The Central Region is showing the highest combined inflation rate, and the major reasons are the fact that we had increases in inflation in the hotels and restaurant subgroup. So generally, in the Central Region, the inflation rate was driven by the non-food group. And then for the Ashanti region, the inflation rate was driven by the food group, because Ashanti region saw the highest food inflation rate.
The main price drivers for non-food inflation included transport, housing, electricity, fuel, education and clothing, while food inflation rate was contributed by beverages, dairy and cereal products. The Consumer Price Index measures the change in the general price levels of goods and services with reference to the price level in 2012. June recorded a year-on-year inflation rate of 17.1% compared to 16.9% recorded in May 2015. Pertaining to non-foods, the inflation rate of June is recorded at 23.6%, unlike May, which was 23.4%. However, the year-on-year food inflation for June was 7.4% as against 7.3% in May. Thus, the year-on-year non-food inflation of 23.6% was more than 3 times the food inflation rate.
There have been increments in the utility prices, transport, and fuel. And we've also seen appreciation in the exchange rate of the cedi. So anything can happen.
The year-on-year inflation rate for imported items for June was about 1.4% times higher than that of locally produced items.
Well, in other news, the president of the Association of Ghana Industries, James Asare-J, has urged government to reduce its borrowing on the local market in order not to crowd out industries. He said the private sector needs government to create an enabling environment for growth and not competition from the state.
The Association of Ghana Industries has cautioned government and the Bank of Ghana not to be complacent following the cedi's appreciation. The association has therefore tasked the central bank to move to...
The voice of the second lady has subsequently gone viral on social media, with many criticizing her for scolding the headmistress.
To me, in Pepaya, Mubenya Biana, Okitasa, Office Omo Nibi, Logbook Omo Nibi, box back, Nebo Yedi. Babi Menina Abaima, Nanso Yana. And so schools, no. I didn't see your PTA, and it's a PTA, every time on Sabomu. Now, so I Sakrana Kano. I buy no, or money mano more than 3/4. It's the Akamistra, it's the headmistress. What the Yapa said, talk so, who is that me? Men will talk. Men will talk and men will talk on tonight. What is that for PTA? Secondly, what's a logbook new uniform? And say your servo, your mother's school uniform, Tinti. I say, who for the crowd, I saw what soon Taria Mangolano. Uniforms are by mano, and yet by force, and you are by Naya and say, what ya, I will for bread. But ya no piano to me school uniform in Tino, or Boa for me school uniform. Nasa Odi Boa, who be down when you are to the hotel. Odi Boa for the Boa, Petty Day, me paso, Monte other ways, with the best supplement.
Right, we're going on the phone lines now and speak to policy analyst with Imani Ghana, Selom Brantier. Thank you very much, Selom, for joining us. So what's the hue and cry about? I mean, she's been brutally frank. Government is providing already free school uniforms, free sandals. Why can't the schools themselves buy their own chalks?
You see, the comments that she made is kind of like a double-edged sword, or it's a slang shot the debate about public funding of education back into the limelight, which is a very great thing. Although unfortunately she's getting a lot of flack for her personal views. What I believe the problem is this: the free education that we are talking about, or that has been the free education policy. The biggest question we should ask ourselves is that, are the school uniforms the priority, or the basic equipment that teachers need to be to be able to give lessons in the classroom the priority? That is one. Two, it also brings to the fore the question about whether there should be more community-based and alumni-based or group-based participation in the administration of schools, other than the whole sole management of this school administration policy by the government, where all public schools are run only by the government. We all are very aware of the fact that IMF conditionalities, as well as the need for the government to trim its budget, means that sectors like education and health, which usually take quite a chunk of the government's budget, are going to have to a lot of expenditure has to be slashed. Now the thing is this: I think that there is a bit of misplaced priority on giving shoes to children when the teachers, the reason why they are going to school is to go and learn, and the teachers are not able to give them the right amount of education knowledge, because one, there are no textbooks, because there are no teaching aids. And you don't expect teachers to spend their meager salaries on procuring teaching aids for the children, because these are consumables that any prudent administration of the educational sector on a district-by-district basis should be able to provide. But we constantly hear about the fact that these are not available, which means that there needs to be a reprioritization of the funding for education to make sure that the free school education should look at the basic necessities of teaching aids, and then also things that before the child leaves school knowing something.
Hello, Selom, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Right. She's also talking about the inclusion of parent-teacher associations as well as alumni of schools. She's not just saying the teachers themselves should contribute, but she's also talking about other stakeholders like the alumni, like the parent-teacher association, for instance.
Yes, I mean, she's very right, because let's face it, like I said earlier, the government is facing a lot of funding crunches because of its its conditionalities externally, etc. I think that the government should begin to look at education not as the sole preserve of the government to provide, but should bring in the necessary stakeholders. I mean, the mission schools are sprung across the country, and there are a lot of churches taking a lot of money in offerings, etc. It is time that they gave back to the schools. So we should look at a situation where churches should be able to, churches and other social groups which are especially embedded in the vicinity or the localities where these schools are, should be able to participate in the education of the children. Because as much as we all think that the government should do it, and as much as the government is bearing that burden, the government is not positioned as it is to bear the full burden. So we need to actually look at the policy and see how we can bring those stakeholders in to make sure that the outcome is that the schools are very well equipped.
All right. Thank you very much, Selom Brantier. He's a policy analyst with policy think tank Imani Ghana. We're going to cross over live to get some sports news.